Welcome to Sincerely Japan, the drifting podcast.
3, 2, 1.
Yo, 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 we're back. It's Sincerely Japan. We're back with some more shenanigans. Back after
More shenanigans.
Jared was out in the field doing the field work for us.
Dude, I'm still pissed you said A$AP Rocky's not a good rapper. And that was three episodes ago.
No.
I'm still fuming over that.
I didn't say he wasn't a good rapper. I said he's overrated. Extremely overrated.
I think he's pretty well rated, to be honest.
Although
Here we go talking about shit that has nothing to do with drifting.
I can be bought off A$AP Rocky, so if you want to slide in my DMs, we can change this whole narrative if you want.
Wow, what a great sales pitch.
I will sell out so fast. This is not even... But
hey, I want money. I'll change my opinion.
that's only in regards to A$AP Rocky. Other people out there, it won't work that easily. But yeah, man, we're back. Just the homeboys after you were out there killing it in the streets, literally. How was that, man?
I wasn't killing shit.
Huh?
It was fun, dude. I wasn't killing shit, thankfully. It was a lot of fun, man. That was I don't know, drift events, it's especially when you go to a bunch of like different venues, you never know what you're going to get, and every venue and every city has its own kind of vibe to it, it has its own personality.
Yeah.
And so me going to Houston, I was just like, I had no idea what to expect. I knew the cars and I knew what style I was coming into, but in terms of just the people, they were so welcoming, and it was just such a rad experience to be able to show up and, hang out. And we just sat down and we set up this tent for episode 21. That was with Kendra and Ethan when they popped in. And it was just like we sat down and we started bullshitting, just the four of us, like just me and my friends, right? And then one dude parked, installed his car. So then we were like, we need to get this guy in. And then Kendra just like walked up with her dogs and was like, what's up? Can I sit here? And the seat was already taken. But then Calvert's like, yeah, fuck it. Like, you know what I mean? But like, dude, I would never do that. And it's not because like I think anything of that. It's just like I'm not outgoing enough to be like, what up? The party's here. Like, I'm not, I don't know. I just don't have it in me to do that. But it was so rad that she did. Because, yeah, we had a really good, like, all of those interviews were supposed to be 30 minutes long. That was your and I's plan of, like, all right, we're just going to go get a bunch of these, like, micro interviews. Like, people are going to want to drive. We're not going to want to interrupt them. And, we got 2 full-length interviews out of folks, like, mid-event, which I thought was, it definitely wasn't expected. So, no, it was awesome, dude. It was a good time. And for the listeners, too, like, that was something totally new for us. We didn't even know if it was going to work. We'd never taken this setup on the road. I never took it off my desk, so then going from that to powering the road, what is this thing? I don't know, our little mixer board and shit. Like I powered all that with my little hatchback and like a converter box that's like 25 years old. And I was like, please work. And it all did. And the episodes came out surprisingly really good, like audio wise, despite how loud the cars were in the background. Like the mics did it no justice. It was really, really loud. We could barely hear each other talking. And it sounded really good. So I don't think that'll be the last time we do those. Unless you guys say they suck, and then it'll probably be the last time we do those.
Well, if you ask me, that shit, I was watching the previews and that stuff came out pretty epic. Like that, what you set up there was like a whole vibe. Like just having the people there chilling, hanging out. It really is just like hanging out at like a barbecue with your homies and, people in the back doing their thing. And, people just coming in and out. I was telling you earlier, like I really like that. And I want to capture more of that. Just being in the scene. Like we don't want to be here just being talking heads, We want to be out amongst the people.
It's really easy to sit in a room or, make like a set more or less. But to actually go out and do that, like it took a lot of effort, but it was so much more rewarding too, because it's like, you're out there, you're physically at these events, like as what we say we are. You know what I mean? Like, because if I go out, nobody knows me. I'm just a random dude. But if it's like, oh, here's a podcast guy, then people are more inclined to come in and just BS and, talk and get to know you. So even from like just a friendship perspective, it was cool just because you get to meet new people that way.
Yeah.
So, no, it was rad, man. It was super rad. And yeah, it's just I don't know. I thought it was a fun format.
I feel bad.
So-
I got like I was telling you earlier. I got like the biggest FOMO ever. Like because like seeing you and Quan there
know,
reminded me
dude.
of just being back in Misawa, and I only went like a couple times, but just going to the track. I remember we were there one time when Quan was trying to like fix his S14, and he had like 6 people there looking at the suspension, like, what can we do to fix this? And he's like freaking out trying to get this thing fixed so he can get some track time. Like that's the stuff that I kind of miss, and I want to get back to that. You know, being over here in Korea is cool and all, but I need to be back. I need to be back in
Was
the
that when he
scene.
broke an axle or something?
It was something like that. That thing was a fucking hoopty from the jump. So
That car sucked, but he only paid like $800 for it.
Yeah.
And then he like broke an axle or a wheel. I think maybe it was a wheel bearing. And to do it, we had to like hammer the axle out of the wheel bearing because it was pretty like seized together. And I just remember Adam taking like a 5-pound hammer, and he just hammered on the axle without a nut on the end of it. Like, didn't even try to be gentle with it, and he fucked up so many threads that we couldn't get a nut back on the axle to keep driving for the rest of the day. And like nobody had the right tools on him because I don't know, nobody brings a toolbox. You know what I mean? It's always just like sockets and screwdrivers. And I'm like, fuck, man, we can't use any of this shit.
yeah, that's why I don't let people touch my car, man.
That was a shitty day. I know. And I since learned from Lucky Costa that you use a ball peen hammer and you put the ball side on the end of the axle where it's got that little divot, and then you use another hammer to hit that hammer, which I'm pretty sure you probably shouldn't do. I don't know. Something about hammer tech tells me maybe don't hammer another
What
hammer.
the fuck is hammer tech?
Listen, hammer technology's come a long way. And I feel like if you hammer another hammer, it's going to like nullify both of them. You know what I mean? And then they both break. Like I feel like they're just so packed with like metal. They're so dense that the molecules, if you hit them together, the atoms are just going to like fucking explode.
Wait, let me just look directly
anyways,
into the camera for a second. I do not endorse anything that Jared just said.
Listen, I don't endorse the ASAP Rocky hatred.
But let's get into something else that happened. I know you saw it because you put me onto this. That Falken tire, or is it Falcon or Falken?
I think it's Falcon.
Falken tire was.
They're kind of the same, right? Like if you say it fast enough, it's both.
So I saw a press release that they put out that they were ending their support for FD, and there was another thing too, like some sort of off-road stuff.
Series.
What is your take on that?
Can you tell we don't give a shit about off-road racing? Like, yeah, some off-road thing. I don't know. Dude, it's like Minami, right? It's like the end of Minami all over again. It feels that way because they're both things that have been around in the drifting community in their own respective ways for so long. And so I think it's going to change. It'll kind of change the footprint of FD, I feel like, because Falcon's always had these really iconic, you know, that livery lived for like 20 years. You know what I mean? Like they never changed it.
Yeah.
And it became like, it was so good off jump, like old school Falcon and new school, like all the drivers that they've gone through over the years, you always just instantly knew what it was. And like for a branding perspective, like that was so smart. But then I think when you think about FD, it's hard to think about FD without them. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's just pretty significant culturally for us. And it's kind of like, again, what's the way forward? You know, who's going to be the next big, tire sponsor to come in?
Well, there's like a lot of
So
people emerging in the space. Like I don't know even if you watch like D1 or even at like little grassroots events, there's a lot of like just up and coming brands that I've never heard of before.
Right.
That are just, you know, we had, you know, previously dealt with was it Tire Streets?
Tire Streets.
And they have their own brand that they deal with, you know, a small brand. Then you have in Formula Drift, there's a new sponsor that's like sponsoring all the cars, or at least they were like last season. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but there's like a lot of little drift specific or like performance tire specific companies popping up to where I don't think Falcon and who would be even the other like big player as far as.
I know Nexen was big for a while there. Yeah. Hankook. Yeah. Is it Hankook or Hankook?
It's actually Hanguk, actually.
Is it Korean?
Yeah, it is. Like the name is
Damn,
Hanguk
leave it
is
to
just
you.
Korea.
Yeah.
It just means Korea. There's your little factoid for the day.
There you go.
But I don't.
Hanguk. So you pronounce the first K like a G?
Yeah. Well, both of them.
love it.
But anyway, I just think there's a lot of competition. Maybe we shouldn't even speculate as to why this move, but I'm going to speculate is just because I don't think they're getting a return on their investment, especially for drifting specifically. Like, how many tires did they go through in a weekend for any team that they're supporting? Like, I can't even imagine how expensive that is. And they have to travel around with all the teams and everything. And I just
I've never bought a Falken tire.
exactly they're probably not
like literally never.
they're not getting a return on their investment. Especially like the high end tires, like they're so expensive for what you're doing with them. You're gonna blow through a set of tires, and it's like, well, maybe I should get these cheaper tires, and save my freaking money.
Exactly, which is why those Kendas, Zestinos, Acceleras, like that's why they all do so good, is because they're relatively inexpensive. And they're high tread wear when you need it.
Yeah.
And low tread wear when you need it, I guess. They have the options. But, that's absolutely what it is. That's like why any business makes any decision, is because it's like, all right, what does this do? What's the ROI here? And so I feel like, I don't know, and maybe that's writing on the wall for FD, or at least an indicator of like professional drifting. We spoke about it with Kendra last week, about like what's the future of drifting? What do we think it's going to turn into? I like to think that it's going to be what Japan is. And like, Japan drifting isn't as popular as it used to be, but there's still a very healthy community of drifters over there. So considering that Japan is pretty ahead of us as far as drifting goes, and they've been doing it for as long as they have been, I don't feel like drifting is going to be gone in the next like 5-10 years, but I do think that the landscape of how people drift and how they enjoy it is going to change, one way or another.
Yeah. I mean, I'm personally not like the biggest fan of like competition drifting, but I think what it should be, because there's so many different series around the world. Russia has their own thing. Fucking Europe, the rest of Europe has their own thing. Obviously, Japan has their own thing. China has a series. I'm pretty sure they have a series. Freaking like every major country has their own drifting series. I would like to see more like a World Cup type thing, where you do your little series in your countries, and then the best from all those, not your little countries, no disrespect, and all those other countries, and the best of the best come together and do like one major event, so where everybody can kind of get eyes and everybody can get some shine, instead of like splintering it like that into, and sponsors can be global partners instead of just individual sponsors. Maybe that wouldn't make sense financially, but that's what I would like to see. Like the best of the best from around the world come together and do their thing. If that exists already, that just goes to show how out of touch I am. If it doesn't exist, I'll take some royalties.
I'm like almost positive that something like that exists already, like World Drift.
Well, so I know FIA tried to have a World Drift Series, but I maybe I'm not following it close enough to know if anything came of that. Because I know the FIA tried to unify it into like under their umbrella, but good luck getting a bunch of drifters to be like, hey, we're gonna follow under this unified FIA thing. Most people are just out there doing it for the fun of it.
Yeah, because you've got a lot of really good drivers that are all over the world. You've got Mad Mike and James Dean and Vaughn Gittin Jr. and Chelsea DeNofa and Adam LZ, like from the U.S., of course. You've got that one cat in Brazil, like literally just that one guy. Whose name I forget and can't pronounce. You obviously everybody in Japan, like you have so many good drivers that are all over the world. I just really feel like drifting is not popular enough to I mean, you're talking ROIs, and like how do you get the money out of it? And it's like if you expect competitors to ship their teams and cars overseas, like that instantly your cost just goes through the roof.
Yeah.
Because it's already expensive. Like it's already expensive to compete in FD. You know what I mean? And then imagine shipping your car from Japan. Like that shit's like $3,000-$4,000 on the cheap end.
Yeah,
I don't even know if you could do it that way. I don't even think you could do row
putting it on
a drift car. Can you imagine some poor soul that loads a row car from Japan to here? He's like 6-putt clutch, like 500 horsepower Silvia.
Well, nobody
my
would trust
God.
them to do that. I mean, even in my experience of roll on, roll
Right.
off, freaking
Right.
my GTR, the paint got all fucked up. I guess a battery died when it was on the boat, so they had to jump it, and it would just turn into a gigantic headache. So yeah, I can imagine people wouldn't want to do that.
Boat catches fire like that one did a couple years ago.
Oh, dude, I would jump off my apartment building if that happened. Because I think the insurance is only up to like $20,000 or something. And it's like,
Is it really?
Yeah, unless you go through like a private party.
Damn, everybody's spending all that money on shit boxes. It's fucked.
Yeah.
I'm super happy that the yen rate's as good as it is, though. Like, still, listen, if you've got money sitting, and this is not what financial people say to do right now, but you could fucking ball the fuck out and buy some saucy shit for cheap.
Yeah,
The yen rate, if it's anything like it was a few weeks ago, it was like, I hate to say like 40% off because it's not what it is. You know what I mean? But basically, like, if you would account for the yen being 100 to 1, or like roughly, 100 to 1, cars that were $18,000 are now like 13, you know? And so it's just a massive, like, you're able to get actually decent cars that are, I won't say reasonably priced, but like more reasonably than they were.
I'm just staying off of Yahoo auctions. That's all I know. Because if I start getting on there and start looking at auctions, it's over with. My bank account is over with. And I don't even have my car, so it's like I just be buying stuff to just sit in a corner. But
Dude, I'm so bad with that. Like, I'll stay up and just be on Marketplace. And, like, I don't even have money to spend. I'm just like, I wonder what's out there. And my dad used to do that, too. Like, he would stay up in eBay Motors until, like, 2 in the morning. And I just remember being like, why are you doing this? Like, we're not even buying anything. And now I get it because I'm just like, just wonder what the options are. You know, want to see what's out there.
yeah. I mean, you're always one click away from, like, a terrible
That's
financial decision. So that's, for me, I got to stay away from that.
There was an RX-7 that popped up by me, and I want it so bad. It's like all original 90s Aero, you know, the I forget the company that did them, but they're like the flip-up conversion headlights where it's just got that piece of plexiglass, and it's like a solid headlight. You know what I mean?
Was it that red one? Did you have post that?
Yes,
I saw
bro.
That.
$4,000 for an FC RX-7. I want it so bad. I want an RX-7 so bad, and I really want to do a rotary build. Just because I think they sound cool, and that's it. I mean, that's literally it.
That specific one, that engine, you have to start from scratch with that because that shit has probably been sitting there for decades. But
hey, it's Bridgeport time, baby.
I don't even know what that means. What is a Bridgeport? We need to get a rotary guy on here to like enlighten us on what the heck all this shit means.
The way that I understand it is that a Bridgeport adds a extra outlet hole. And our listeners are probably like, no, you're way off right now. The way I understand it is that it adds an extra because the rotary spins around, right? You've got an inlet and an outlet, and they may be called something else. This is very layman's terms. You drill an additional outlet hole that feeds to the same outlet, right? But you do it so that you don't lose, like your apex seals don't get caught in that outlet port. Does that make sense?
No. But I appreciate your I'm a visual
learner. This is
learner.
the way that I understand it, dude,
learner.
and I'm not a rotary guy. I know, I am too. Somebody said this verbally, and I was like, dog, this makes zero sense to me, which is probably why I explained it wrong. Rotary guys, write in. Write in. You can either be like, yeah, you're kind of right, or you're going to be like, nah, that was not.
Yeah.
That was not even close.
Feel free to use all caps.
Because there's
that way we know how pissed off you guys are.
No, don't use all caps. Be kind. Which actually brings me to our first written topic. Like we've gone 25 minutes just bullshitting, dude. We haven't even hit our topics. But dude, a really big thing is I saw a post on anti-BMW group or something like that, club. Yeah, it's got to be club, right? For antisocial social club. But it's for Beamers. Anyway, so somebody posted like this F80 that was so average. You know what I mean? Like so regular traffic. And he said I don't know, he posted it to get roasted. And then the whole comment section was like, you know, oh, fuck this car. Those wheels look like shit. And this looks like whatever. And it made me so mad because I'm like, I just can't believe that people do that. Like it's so upsetting to me that people would just go out of their way to post somebody else's car so that other people also go in and make fun of that person's car. That's so shitty to me. And it wasn't even a shitty looking car. Like, and that's not me being subjective. Like, oh, I like this style. It's like literally it had coilovers, a style of wheel, and maybe like a lip kit. Like, it was so basic, dude. So me looking at it was like, this car looks fine. Like, I was like, it looks like pretty much every other F80 I've seen on the road ever. And it just, I don't know, man. Like, I'm just getting so sick of people literally going out of their way just to disrespect other people. And you see it a lot more now, I feel like, than you ever have. And it made me really like, because I remember like, dude, I hold on to shit and I overthink about things all the time. So I went like the rest of the day like actually upset, dude. Like, it was in the back of my mind all day. And I was like, why the fuck am I getting so upset about a goddamn Facebook post? Like, this is why I deleted Facebook the first time. And I think it's because, like, you and I kind of say it jokingly, like their whole respect all builds. And it's not. Like, that's really what I was thinking is, like, it's not about respecting all builds because, you know, and that was something that some people would comment too is be like, oh, I'm tired of respecting all builds. And it's like, I don't give a fuck if you respect the build, but at least respect the person. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know how to make that any clearer. Like, I feel like everybody deserves respect until they don't. And then that's obviously like a very fine line in the sand. But if I don't know this person, why am I going to go out of my way to disrespect them or like talk shit on them? You know what I mean? Like, that just doesn't seem right. And I don't know. So this is my little soapbox is don't be shitty to people online if you don't know them.
Yeah, I mean, so
Unless they're being shitty.
I forgot where I heard it, but it basically came down to the time that you take to like go and write on a comment that someone's gonna see. Like, if you write something shitty about them and they're gonna see it, it might ruin their whole day. And it took you like a second to post that out. I don't
Right. And for you, you're just like la la la, like go about your day.
Yeah, like,
And it fucks that whole that person for like, you know, as long as they dwell on it or like, you know, it eats them up.
I don't know.
So.
I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and say like I'm a perfect person. Where I look at some posts and comments and I'll have something in my mind that I'm thinking, which is like shitty, but I won't say it. I won't post it because what good does that do? Like, if the person sees it at all, they're not gonna change what they're doing. Why should they give a shit what I think at all? It's like, it's not my money. They're allowed to do what the heck they want to do. So I understand where you're coming from, and I'm sure my wife is tired of me going on rants about social media. I have such a love-hate relationship with social media because half of the shit I see on there is just so mind-numbingly dumb. But then at the same time, it serves a purpose, especially for us, you know, trying to get our name out there and build like a brand or whatever. But I think you definitely reinforce this with this show is just keeping a good vibe. You know, we've had stuff on the show where it's like, man, the vibe of this is wrong. We want to keep a good vibe. So I really admire that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, and I think that was a big thing for Knuckle Up. Just going back to that was, you know, you show up and people were just so supportive and it was so lighthearted and like there were things that like for that event specifically, at least for the first day, they were having a lot of problems with the track consistency. Like some parts were really wet and some parts were really dry. And so a lot of people were spinning out. You know what I mean? It was just like really unpredictable track surface for that day. But overall, the vibe was still good, even though the organizers were like bringing out the dryers and, you know, the brooms and like really trying to improve the track. Like there was a lot of stuff that wasn't going to plan, but even despite that, it was still really like light and fun and enjoyable for, I mean, everybody that I interacted with. I mean, shit, the second interview, he spun out and backed into a tree. And, like, thankfully, he really didn't fuck a whole lot up, aside from his bash bar. But, yeah, I think that's a lot. You know, I think just maintaining, like, basic common courtesy goes so far communally, you know? And it like has such a big impact, and it just pays dividends for everybody that's involved in that circle. So, you know, this wasn't like a big segment of like virtue signaling and like trying to be like, oh, we're such good people. It was just something that I wanted to communicate because dude, like I said, man, I just overthink a shit, and I'll sit and like that's why like 4 episodes didn't get posted, like they died on a hard drive somewhere because I just sat there thinking on it, and I was like, people aren't gonna like this. I don't want to post it. So yeah, it just weighed on me a lot, and I don't like seeing the car community going in a certain direction, even if it's social media. Like it still, affects people in real life, and so that's a big thing for me.
Yeah, I mean, did you see that guy call us out on our Instagram? Did you see that?
Dude, he was mean, like out of nowhere.
Yeah, I was like, what the heck?
Dude, the time frame. So there was a photo of a VW Beetle that had an SR20 in it, S13 SR20. And go ahead, you tell it, because I don't know all the details.
Yeah, so I was, drunk scrolling on fucking Instagram like I do sometimes, and I saw this, and I was like, I commented like, "Oh, only in Japan," which is like a completely vague comment. It doesn't, if you say only in Japan, it doesn't lean one way or the other. And then some guy replied to that, he's like, "This happened in the early 2000s. How do you not know about this? Are you slow or something?" And I'm like, "Whoa,
yeah."
What is?
I was like, dog, nobody said anything about when this happened.
Like, what difference does it make if it happened then, if it happens now? That has nothing to do with my comment. But I think that gets back to with a lot of people, and I feel like a lot of the people that are in these comments and like posting on comments and stuff like that are probably like kids, honestly. Either that or they're just like really emotionally immature. Like they lack perspective.
Now listen, I definitely did my fair share of shit talking in Modern Warfare 2. Like, don't get me wrong.
Dude, did you know that there is okay, I don't know if this is true. I saw it on freaking Facebook, but apparently there's like a dark web website where if you go in there and put your gamer tag in for Call of Duty, it has recordings from those like back in Modern Warfare 2.
No way.
I don't know how legit it is, but that you could end so many people's careers with that.
I don't feel like you definitely could. I feel like mine would be so much fun to go back and listen to, dude, because it wasn't even like we would trash talk sometimes for sure, but it was mostly just us being so dumb.
Yeah.
God, that'd be so fun to go back and listen to, because there's always that, like, it's not even a meme, but it's like I don't know, motivational shit. It's not even motivational, like sad boy photos with the text, you know what I mean? And it just talking about how, like, you never know when the last time you play with somebody is. Like, the last time you set a controller down, and that's like, oh, that's the last time I'm going to play video games with that person.
Yeah.
There's never that moment until you're like, oh, shit, I haven't played with them in, like, 4 years.
Yeah, and Xbox, now we're off in the weeds, but I love how Xbox has next to the person's names, like, last online X many days or years ago, and it's like, God damn, that's so depressing. Like, that used to be my best friend, and I haven't talked to them in 10 years.
Dog. That is a really sad reminder, dude. I had a buddy that died in a car accident, and I see that when I log into Steam, and it's like, so and so hasn't been on in, 5,000 days.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Like, that shit's all right, Steve. You're getting heavy on me. Yeah, I don't like that, dude. I don't like that. They need to take that shit away.
Yeah, it should definitely.
I'm just listen, okay. I'm just trying to play Honey Pop. I don't need to see. I don't need to be reminded about this right now. Anyways, moving on from that. Shit, bro. This episode's all over the place. We wanted to talk about Falken. I wanted to talk about the builds trope. We just passed Christmas and New Year's. I got some really, like, this is the first year that Jess and I were really able to buy anything for each other, which I was really stoked on. I saw Jungbin got you golf clubs.
No, so I already had the golf clubs, but I needed a golf bag. So for a while, I was going to the there's like a screen golf place next to me, and just taking my clubs just in my hand, and I looked like an idiot. But Jumpin hooked it up.
You took all of them?
Yeah.
How many were you carrying? All of them.
Yeah, all my wedges, my putter, and my driver.
You just carried them all by hand?
Yeah. It was bad.
See, I feel like if you had like a driver, it would be fine.
Yeah. No, but like I said, Jumpin.
You look like the worst caddy ever. Oh my god, dude, that's awesome. You just dump them on the floor. Oof. Damn, so disrespectful, man. You yell at women like that?
Nah, man. But actually, I don't even know if she heard me. But
you should probably yell louder.
So, what did you guys get each other for Christmas?
Dude, she just asked for clothes, which first of all, I was like, come on, give me some variety. You know what I mean? I was like, you're just gonna, and then we didn't have the boxes. Like, you know, when your parents would buy you clothes and they put them in like the little clothes boxes, and then you just like package it all up and it looks nice and neat. Well, we didn't have those. And I told Jess, I was like, yo, you should go buy some boxes. I can put your shit in it. And she was like, oh, just like wrap it like in the whatever, you know? And I was like, oh, that's super exciting. Like all of your shit's going to look the same because you wanted pants and shirts. And they're squishy and it's going to be like, oh, I wonder what this is. And it's like, pants, surprise. So anyways, I had to preface that. I got her pants and shirts. She got me an adapter for my G29 Logitech. So I ran my Grip Royal, my old Grip Royal that I took out of the 240. I put that on the sim, which is hard, man. Like, have you driven a sim with a real wheel on it versus just the stock, you know, little one that they put on?
Yeah, so I had an adapter, a little plastic adapter for my Thrustmaster. Actually, so your audio had cut out earlier. Is that you said so? Just got you an adapter so you can stick a steering wheel on to your sim.
Yeah.
Actually, yes, I think I saw a picture of that.
But it's just like, I feel like I'm relearning the sim all over again because it's just like, it's so much heavier and bigger. And I feel like the G29 is just like not having a good time.
Yeah, for those,
you know,
yeah, you definitely need something with a bigger motor or like direct drive.
Right. And so I feel like that's the next move. Like, give me like a year. Because the G29 is fine. I just have to throw the wheel more to kind of help the motor out a little bit. But no, it's fine. So she got me that. My mom got me a signed Larry Chen poster, which I'm stoked on.
Oh, really? Which one did you get?
The RWB shop. It's rad, dude. It's super cool. It's like very black and white, contrasty, you know, with some wide body Porsches. So no, it's rad, man. But it got me thinking, like, what do you think is like the ultimate car guy gift outside of a car?
Well, I think car guys usually, they dream big, but the reality is that, you know, everybody has that one thing that they really need for their build. And it'd be like, oh, if my girl got me this engine part or these wheels, it's like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you ask for that, you're an asshole. Like, if
it's expensive, yeah. I asked for car shit, but I think I capped it at like $200 maybe.
Yeah.
Which is like kind of a lot, you know what I mean? But for Christmas, I feel like it's like, maybe if they want to swing on like one big thing. Because we made whole ass lists, dude, and I like put the whole Yashio factory catalog on it. I was like, dude, give me any of this shit. I want Yashio so bad.
I don't know. Like the idea of like my wife wiping out her bank account. If you guys both got money, obviously go to town. It's your money. But I always tell my wife not to buy me anything expensive because I don't want her wiping out her bank account for something like that for me. Like, I'd be much more happy if she kept her money. For honestly, the things that the car gifts that I've gotten from her that are the best are like the kind of little more sentimental stuff. So like, she got me a steering wheel. I know Jess got you a steering wheel in the past, a Renowned steering wheel that's in my GTR now. That was really cool. And those are kind of expensive, but she bought that of her own. Like, I didn't ask for that. But when I got it, I was like, holy fucking shit. Like, but she got me 1 year, like when we were first dating, like valve stem covers that have the little Nismo logo in them. Or caps, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I still have those on my car. Like, that's the type of stuff for me that goes a long way. Because, like, it shows she cared, and I don't have to feel guilty about her, you know, spending $600, $700, $800 on some shit. Like,
true.
But
I feel like for me, like all the small shit I've kind of gotten myself already, you know, because that's generally the easy stuff. I think, it's tough, right? Because like if she went out of her way and I didn't make a list, right? But say just for example, she got like a bunch of GK Tech stuff, like little GK Tech, you know, I probably would be like, oh, this is great. Thanks. I always wanted this GK air freshener. Thank you so much. You know what I mean? But if it was like little Nismo shit or Nissan, like a Nissan t-shirt, whatever, I would be way more stoked. Like, I think it depends on the brand. You know what I mean? So when you're saying like Nismo shit, I'm like, oh, that's actually super tight. And so for her to know what to get you, I think is huge just by itself.
Yeah. One year she got me a Nismo sweater. It's just like a gray sweater like this, but just said Nismo on it. And it was awesome.
Yeah.
But I would work on my car in that. And I annihilated it in like 3 months. Just oil stains everywhere.
Dude, what's your affinity with Nismo?
I don't know.
You have so much Nismo. It is unreal.
I'm like a brand whore, kind of. So when I find a brand that I like,
Dude.
I just kind of go with it. Like
Yeah.
Adidas, like everything. I'm wearing Adidas pants right now. My golf bag is Adidas. I only wear Adidas shoes. Like once I find something I like, unless they give me a reason not to like it, I'm in. And for Nismo, obviously, I'm a Skyline guy. But for Nismo, their support for their vehicles and everything is like so crazy. Like they have a Nismo website in Japan. I don't know if most people know, but if you go to the Japanese one, they have so much little tchotchkes and shit like you wouldn't even believe. Like you can get phone cases, cup holders, coffee cups, like all kinds of shit. So I just like brands that know that people want to support them. I don't know. Plus they make performance parts too.
You're the second person I've heard in the past week that's used the word tchotchke, and I don't love it. And also, I knew it was Yiddish without looking it up, and then I looked it up and was like, "Why do I know this?"
Is it? I don't know where I got that word from.
It is.
I've heard it.
It is. I'm a goyim, bro. I'm a freaking Jewish ally. I got some Jewish friends.
I don't know what that word means.
I know a thing or two. A goyim is just a non-Jewish person.
Oh.
So, welcome back to Sincerely Japan, the Jewish podcast, the kosher cast. Welcome back.
Kanye, please don't attack us.
Yeah, we're not making ooh wee stickers anymore. We're making kosher stickers.
Hey, we're making ooh wee stickers.
SJ
Don't
kosher.
listen to Jared. I'll go out of my way to make those.
Let's just call it SJ Kosh.
Nah.
It sounds pretty tight though.
Is that not cultural appropriation?
I don't feel like it is it?
I don't even know what kosher means. Is that when you put salt on stuff? I don't know what that is.
No. Kosher just means it's like it's good to go.
I see.
So that's why they say kosher salt, because I think there's some salt that's not kosher. But I don't know the rules of kosher, so I don't want to speak too much on it. But there's like certain criteria that generally food has to meet so that it meets the dietary restrictions of Jewish people.
I see.
Again, I feel like I'm speaking about rotaries right now, where I'm like, kind of know what I'm talking about, but really not really at all. God, SJ Kosh would be so sick, bro. That sounds like a freaking rapper name.
I feel like that's taking us down a slippery road. Like if we start bringing in, then we're gonna have a podcast that has to get like ordained or something. It's like, no.
That'd be tight. This is the worst podcast to have ordained, bro. What are we gonna have ordained?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure I dropped the F-bomb like 4 times in the first 20 seconds of episode 21. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm the only person that voted against ooh wee because I don't like saying it.
It's not a thing that you say. It's a thing that you live. It's like
for listeners that don't know what we're talking about, we posted an Instagram story and we post a lot of Instagram stories, and Darius drunk scrolls a lot on SJ. And I'm just assuming he does, because I will wake up to like 4 stories at once, and they're always like, ooh wee, this gets the SJ ooh wee. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Hey, that's my personal flavor. And I think that's the thing about this show that works. You are your own person, and I'm my own person. And I'm bringing the ooh wees, I'm bringing the hooba stanks, I'm bringing all that shit. And if you don't like it, then you can just tune out for my stories.
The SJ Hooba Stanks. Yep.
Now that's a drift
wake
team
up
name
to
right
just a
there.
bunch of
Put that one on the short list.
SJ Hooba Stanks. Dude, if we're doing SJ anything, it's SJ Kosh. Oh man, that's so good. Anyways, so yeah, I just wake up to hella ooh wees, and then I'm like, what are we doing? And then he's like, do we need to make ooh wee stickers? And then everybody votes yes, of course. And I'm like, God damn it.
I say, we'll do like a limited run, and then based on the response from that, then we'll keep them on hand. I think that's how we should do it.
Do you know like GK Tech's new logo where it's like the cartoony looking GK?
But I
think that's like a similar font we need to do. It looks so sick, dude.
Well, no.
I joked about getting a GK Tech air freshener, but like I really fuck with air fresheners heavy, especially if they're from like cool brands that I like. And so I have like 3 Street Faction air fresheners in my car, and like I've only bought like one thing from Street Faction. No, I bought 2. I bought a shirt and I bought a fire extinguisher holder for the 240, and both of them came with like a ton of stickers and a ton of air fresheners. And so I've just been rocking the hell out of Street Faction air freshener. Shout out to Street Faction.
Can you like add that to your Instagram bio? Like Jared Vickers, I fuck with air fresheners heavy. I don't think enough people are rocking that. Like you could start your own community.
Yeah, husband, father, air freshener connoisseur. I hate that shit, dude. When it's like something hyphen.
That's like everybody on Instagram now. So you just shot at everybody on Instagram.
Husband, father, entrepreneur, car builder, football player, skateboarder. I'm like, dog, don't fucking list all of your, you know what I mean? Like, this isn't Tinder. Just give me, like, I obviously know who you are.
Yeah, it's not LinkedIn. People aren't going on Instagram to look for resumes, but hey,
fuck LinkedIn too. I'm gonna go on the record. Fuck LinkedIn, bro. And I'm not gonna get a job for the next 40 years. I just hate the facade. You know what I mean? Like, no social media platform has felt so fake like LinkedIn does.
Yeah, I mean, I don't post on there, but I do go to just look for job openings. But yeah, because you gotta like make like the most cleanest version of yourself, and like
post. And then people, I find that my friends that are job searching are always posting, and they're like, have you had a good boss? You know, management makes such a difference and blah, blah, blah. Like, this is like fake inspirational workplace bullshit. I'm like, what are we doing? Like, I know this isn't you. This isn't you. We don't go to dinner and you're like, yeah, you know, you should look at SEO and freaking marketing tactics and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, never mind. I'm not going to go on the rabbit hole. How do we feel about car tattoos?
I don't think I've ever seen a car tattoo that was legit. Not that I'm saying they don't exist. I've just never seen it. Like,
you know, I kind of agree with you. I've seen, like, never in person. I will say this, never in person have I seen it, but I feel like I've seen, like, online at least a handful that I thought were cool, but 9 times out of 10 they look like shit. It's like you try to get the Nissan logo and then it doesn't look good. We're probably shitting on so many listeners too, so I'm so sorry. Just as we said not to be mean to people, my point is, God, we're being fucking dickheads, bro.
No, we're not. This is a PSA.
You know why we're not? You know why we're not? Because I have a shitty car tattoo, so I can talk about it.
Oh, what is it? I don't think I've ever seen it.
I've got initial D. I've got initial D on my calf.
Like just
I've got like a little wood.
Letter.
I just have D on my calf. I have like a scene from Mount Akina, like when they're driving. What do I have on here? I'm trying to look at it to see. I've got like an FCRX7 chasing the 8.6, and it's like mountains and shit. And then it's got really big. I'm gonna put this on video. Can y'all see this? You can kind of see that. I'm going to show off my leg on camera. Yeah, look at that. I'm not going to show my feet. Feet stay off camera. Anyways, that got weird real fast. Anyways, and then I have a bunch of katakana that's going down my leg because in the mangas, they would alliterate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they would make like revving noises, which in Japanese it literally just goes Gah! And I got that, and then I have people that ask me all the time, hey, what does your leg say? And I'm like, literally just says, Gah! And then they were like, oh, okay. It's not a great conversation piece. But my point being, I think, is that I think if you have an illustrative car piece and it's done well, it can look really dope. But I've seen so many like Sylvia emblems and Nissan emblems, and what else have I seen? A lot of people do like logos and stuff, or they'll do like a car part, you know what I mean? And it's like the whole piece.
Yeah.
and it doesn't lay right on the piece of skin that they want to do, or the artist that they go to isn't great. And like I sound like I'm gatekeeping for tattoos, because I also have a rule that you can't trust anybody if they've got nothing but good tattoos. Like, you have to have shitty tattoos if you have tattoos.
Really?
You have to have shitty tattoos. Yeah, you can't have like you can have some good ones, but you have to also have at least a shitty one to be trustworthy. It's like in the military, like you can't trust anybody if they didn't have paperwork. You know what I mean? You got to do some shitty things to be trustworthy.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't have any tattoos, and I was actually, because I want to get a sleeve done, and I want to incorporate the things that are important to me. That's like always been my thing. Like, I'm not going to get a tattoo of just anything. It has to be something, it has to be important enough to me to where if I look at it every day, I wouldn't get sick of it. So,
oh, dude, I don't give a fuck. I have the word pinky on my arm.
And see, that's the difference between me.
Don't give a fuck, bro.
But
yeah, I feel like because here's the thing, right? If you're gonna sit there and deliberate on it forever, you're either never gonna get it, or you're gonna spend so much time thinking about it that you're not gonna get it till you're like 40.
Yeah, well, I mean,
you just gotta send her, bud. You just gotta send her.
And remember the conversation started with us talking about shitty car tattoos. So, and I wanted to get something that incorporates my GTR, maybe my first Skyline, and then my family on there. But it's like, how do you do that in a tasteful way? I don't want to. And I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, I don't want any GTR logos. I don't. Dude,
you know what you should do?
What?
There's a photo on Boomslank. Go Google Boomslank RX-7. Like, you don't need to do it right now, and if you're a listener, I think it's called Boomslank. Let me look this up real quick. They're like a illustration company that sells. God, I'm so good, bro. How do I pull this shit out of my ass? I haven't looked this up in like 2 years. They're called Boomslank. They make like phone covers and shit, and they're all anime. And they've got a really cool art style. But they did one photo, and it's an RX-7, and it's a girl sitting inside of it with the guy driving, and it's really wide angle. And it's such a cool piece because it's like very car centric, but it's not a traditional like photo of a car or a logo. You know what I mean? It's just two people inside of a car. And I think if you did something like that, where it's illustrative and like maybe kind of cartoony or like whatever style you want to have it done in, maybe it's like you and Jongbin and Morty like through the windshield. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's ways that you could navigate being creative with how you incorporate a car into the shit. You know what I mean? Maybe you do like a through the windshield, but it's like drawn in the style of Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
Like they're in the spaceship. I don't know, dude. I'm spitballing, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you can get creative to where it incorporates cars, but it's not just a car or a logo or something.
Yeah. I mean, I also have the apprehension is that just because my skin is dark, I can't have like it be colorful like I want it to be. I don't think I haven't done enough research, but I would want it to be like colorful and everything. But I don't know. We're kind of in the weeds on it, but
we're real deep on tattoo talk. So welcome to Sincerely Japan, the tattoo podcast. Yeah, dude. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's the takeaway here is that if you want to get a car tattoo, think outside the box a little bit. Because more often than not, what you're wanting and where you're wanting it probably isn't going to look great. Like, mine came out not great.
I mean,
just for a few reasons.
You tried to show it, and all I could see was like the side of your calf. So you're gonna have to take a picture later and post it up so everybody can see what you're talking about. You're gonna have to.
I'm gonna not.
You're gonna.
I'm gonna fucking not. It's not even done, bro. Like, I did one session and then I dumped all my money into car parts and I haven't gone back. So I can't. That's the thing too, right? Is like, I haven't gotten many tattoos. I have some, but I haven't gotten many because it's like I just never have the money for it. Like, I always put it on a credit card and then I just pay it off because I'm like, I'll just make the appointment and at least do it. You know what I mean? But I'm never like saving up for it or whatever. I'm always like putting money into car parts or paying off credit cards. I'm terrible with money. That's why we had Quan on for episode 5. But I don't think Quan's that good with money either, to be honest. His Z is kind of ass.
Did he drive it to the thing?
No, fuck.
Does it run?
It runs, yeah. And it's actually it's a really fun car. I'm just giving him shit, but I love Quan. No, it's a lot of fun, and it's like, it's not fast, but it is quick. You know what I mean? Like, it's fun. It's fast enough to be fun. It feels really good in the car. A 1J obviously just like feels good.
Oh, I didn't know he finished the swap already.
Or no, he's got a 2J. Yeah, it's done and it runs. It burned a lot of oil there for a while, and then we got it to settle down. So, yeah, no, it's really really dope. We'll have to post some photos of the swap whenever it's finished because right now it looks like it was just hobbled together because it kind of was. You wanted to talk about TRA Kyoto's latest body kits.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going.
Have you seen them? Because he's kind of been on a tear lately with these USDM style body kits on these. Well, okay, so he's doing like a fusion of like old school muscle cars on just like any car he can get his hands on pretty much. So did you see,
Right.
I think it was a C5 Corvette. I don't know. I'm not super well versed. Yeah, it's a C5 Corvette. But it looks kind of like something you get out of like, I don't know if you ever played the old Burnout games where it was like someone's make-believe take on like the ultimate muscle car. But
wait, you're not talking about the new mid-engine C8, are you?
No. It was on he did a C5 Corvette. Just if you're looking it up right now, just go to TRA Kyoto. And you'll see.
Because Pandem also did a C8 kit, and this shit looks like a cyberpunk car.
No. You got to go to the TRA Kyoto ones.
Is this it? It's a C5?
Yeah. So he's done C5. He has one for like an '06 Mustang that, I don't know, I'm kind of torn on because it has like a bash bar in the front. Without the bash bar, the rest of that car looks fucking sick. And then he's got one.
I don't like it, dude.
For which one?
I don't like this. I don't like the C5.
Really, dude? Oh my God.
No. I'll tell you why. The back fenders break my rule that we spoke about in the last episode or the last episode that you and I did, where it's like it just sticks out too straight. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they should have made it kind of lean into the body more. Listen, and I'm not doing any of this work either, so I'm not even going to try to act like, my shit don't stink because it does. But I don't like how the flares come out because I don't feel like they flow with the body.
Well, look at
I feel like the front end looks too much like a Beamer.
I don't know, man. I like it. I think it's a perfect mix of like the old school style with like the cuts in the front bumper mixed with, it's a C5 Corvette. C5 Corvettes already look good. I think it's just enough, not too much, in my opinion. And it still has a pop-up headlights. Like, come on. But what about?
Yeah, I don't know. It looks like. Do you remember what the old E31s, like the 8 Series Beamers?
Yeah, and those look amazing too.
I mean, they look good, but this Corvette kit looks just like that in the front end. I don't know. Like, that's the same reason I didn't care for the Boss S14 kit.
Really?
It looked too much like a Camaro. Yeah, I don't know. Like, they look cool. I don't mind them. I just don't like that they look like a different car. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? I feel like you have so many options to build something fresh, and then you do that. Listen, I saw a Nissan Cube, a Z11, that had an E30 front end on it, and it was the sickest looking shit I've ever seen in my life. Quad headlights look good. It just proved quad headlights look good on absolutely everything.
You just said that you don't like cars that look like other cars.
Yeah, but it legit was another car. See, that's different. And we talked about it. Front end swaps are still cool. I don't remember what the verdict was on that episode. Probably contradicted myself here. But it looked cool. I think the C8 Pandem kit looks insane.
I think that looks hideous. And that's because I don't like how he's been doing this trend where he takes the fenders and makes them boxy. Instead of,
I like
curved.
that though.
Like,
yeah,
I'm not a fan of that.
That's very
at
American
all.
too.
That's so crazy. Like,
that's very like
our taste. We were talking offline earlier about trying to do like later on down the road like an SJ like build together so that we can go and like take the tracks and whatnot. And I feel like once it comes down to the styling, there might be like World War III or something because it's gonna be like pulling teeth together.
I don't like C8s. I'm gonna be honest. I don't like C8s at all. But this kit looks insane. Like, I feel like it flows so good with the body. I don't mind the square openings because it just, like, it looks appropriate for the car. Because the car is, like, just really sharp. You know what I mean? I feel like if they rounded the arches, but everything else was sharp, it I probably would have looked fine, but I feel like this just complements it so well.
That is so crazy because I have, like, the complete opposite. It looks like a truck. It looks like a pickup truck. It's so bad. It's like,
yeah, dude. But do you remember when we were over there? Like, it's a really weird. it's a really weird niche of car enthusiasts that really, really like American cars.
Yeah.
And like big engines, you know, it's like a really small group of people, but they are like all about it. I remember I was looking at an ad for a Nissan SEMA, and it was the 4.1 V8. And the guy that was selling the car in the ad wrote like a paragraph about how it was such a shitty car and it got shit gas mileage and it was a big bulky V8 and like talking down on the car. And I was like, this is a bad sales pitch. Like, you're not, it's like, you're not selling this at all. But he just like lamented the fact that this car was like so, grossly overbuilt, I guess. Like, I don't want to say overpowered because it was still like sub 300, but yeah, so like I feel like most people kind of have that mentality of like smaller is better. Meanwhile, dude, I drove a friend's Suzuki Lapin, which is like it's a K car, and like we're about to talk about K cars. This is a great segue. I remember driving it to Morioka on the toll roads, and you'd go through the mountains, like up and down mountains. And I was like flooring it, losing speed, going up the mountain. And I was just like, what is this bullshit, bro? I was so mad because I was like, they couldn't gear for this? Like, Japan's all mountains. Like, when we drove to, where did we go? We went to Kyoto and back. And on the way back alone, we went through 79 tunnels, bro. Like, the whole country is mountains. I was like, you couldn't build for this? Like, to go up hills a little bit better? You know, I dropped like 2 gears and I was still losing speed. I'm like, what are we doing, Suzuki? That just made me hate K cars forever, honestly.
Well, I imagine
So
you have an adverse relationship with K cars just because you probably can't fit in like any K car.
That's true. I don't fit in a lot of them. Yeah, even that one, like a Lapin is pretty big. It's like bigger than an Alto. It's an Alto Lapin, so it's kind of it's kind of like the Bronco Sport, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. I really don't fit in many K cars at all. Like even the K trucks, I don't fit in. But they're just so underpowered. I think that's the big thing. Like I would never own one here, even over there. Like it just wasn't great to own. I didn't really like them. I think the only one that I would own aren't the Jimneys technically a K car?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I would own a Jimny.
I don't know. Jimneys just look so precarious. Like, a lot of people lift them, and it looks like if like a strong
Precarious,
wind. It just looked like if a strong wind blew, it would just fall over on its side, and you'd just be stranded. Like they look cool,
but they got the bubble. They have the bubble top Jimneys that have like the little skylights in the roof. The little high. You know what I'm talking about? The high roofed Jimneys.
No, I don't think so. Let me do some Google Maps.
You have like your standard flat roof Jimny, and then you have one that's like. It's not like a camper top, like that feels egregious to call it that, but it sits like 6 inches higher.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
And it has like it's got like little skylights in the corners. Like I would fuck with one of those super heavy, and like I barely fit in Jimneys too. But yeah, I don't know. So you wanted to talk like top 3 K cars. The Jimny I think is probably my number 1. An Alto, a Suzuki Alto. Oh, what is it called? Is it just called an Alto? The performance version. The Alto Works.
That's a little like hatchback one, right?
Yeah.
Dude,
I think those are so tight.
I don't want to make this out to be more than what it actually was, but one night I was driving my GTR. I used to just like go, and there used to be this road right behind base, so I would consider like a toge light. Anyway, so I would go.
Is that the one that went by? Is that the one that went by the lake?
Yeah, I went over the bridge and everything. So I was coming.
Yeah.
I was coming back from the way that's over by where that park was, kind of where the baseball fields and all that stuff was. And I was coming back, and I was going to go through, and a Suzuki Alto Works was in front of me, and it was kind of like rainy. And he was going down this road too, and I was following him. I was like, okay, I'm about to give this guy the business, because it was obviously tuned. Like you could hear the blow off valve and everything, and he just shit all over me. Like as soon as he started to pick up speed, I tried to pick up speed with him, and he was just fucking gone. I could not keep up. And it's like, holy shit, that car couldn't have more than what? 150
Talk me of
horsepower,
Misawa,
dude. 150 horsepower max, probably. But it's just you could tell he was able to throw it because of the weather. He was able to just throw it into every turn, not touch the brakes at all. I could catch up. There was a couple of straights, and I could kind of start to catch up to him. But anytime a turn would come up, I would just be shit out of luck because I have to slow down, and he didn't. So that's my auto work story.
Right.
And the thing looks sick
Dude,
too.
they're so good. I know, and they're like so boxy and shitty. That's definitely number 2, and then I think number 3 is like as much as I straight up don't fit in them. I really like the cappuccinos.
Yeah, those just look good.
I think a cappuccino would be my number 3. Dude, they're so good and they're so little. Did I sit in a cappuccino? What did I sit in? Maybe it was a beet. Beets are cool too. But I think it was a cappuccino, and I listen. I could get in, dude, but it was not. I don't know, dude. I don't know. Like, it was tight in every possible way, and I had the seat all the way back. Like, my knees were on the dashboard, my hips were all the way into the seat. My head, like my neck, was kind of craned down like a little bit. And the steering wheel was like digging into my legs. I was like, there is like zero. You know, the only thing that kind of fit were like my shoulders side to side. I was like, that's the only bit of comfort I have right now. And the pedals are like 12 inches from the clutch to the gas. You know what I mean? Like, they're all just like right there. And so, dude, yeah, it was not a big car at all. Like, I wish I was like 5'6" so I could enjoy just about everything.
Are you ready for mine?
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, and by the way, the fact that you're as tall as you are, there's people that would jump off a building to get your height. So.
100%. 100%. Yeah. No, I get it. I've also hit my head on too many things. Dude. I think 5'11" is like, the sweet spot for dudes, because you can, like, you're not short where they're like, oh my god, he's short, but you're not so tall that it's like annoying. I feel like 5'11", like most dudes could fit in most cars.
Well, I'm 5'11", so 5'11" gang.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, gang, bro. You fit in whatever you want, bro. That sucks, dude. I'm pissed.
That's kind of the worst of all worlds, though, because I can fit in cars, but I can't tell people I'm 6 foot. Like, that's the magic number. And then if you tell them they're 5'11", they're like, oh, so you're 5 foot. I was like, no, I'm 5'11". And when I wear my boots, I'm 6 foot.
When you open with a 5, you're like, damn.
But so my top 3, I'm gonna give my first place.
But also, hold up, before you start, you could fit in like every bucket seat too.
That's not true.
Like, you don't really. I'm not saying waist wise. I'm saying you don't really have to worry about where the shoulders are.
That's also not true.
You do, really,
dude. The bucket seat I have in my GTR, it's a Recaro, like I think it's like called SBG or something. I have to be vacuum packed to fit into that motherfucker, and I will sit in there and I'll have tears running down my face,
Spanx,
but I will commit to it because it's a Recaro, and it's like just put the sat.
Is it a full bucket?
Yeah.
I feel like you don't see many Recaros that are full buckets. Like, they're all reclinables that I see.
Well, that's the ones everybody gets because those are the ones that came in other cars, so they're easier to get. You know what I mean? You just grab it out of some, Mitsubishi, or I used to have the red ones from the Honda Civic Type R in my GTR.
Yeah,
they don't really fit that well though. But the one that I got, the SPG, and that's because in the Japanese market, people are so much smaller that those bucket seats fit real nice in there. But not for your body. And my waist does not fit in that. But I'll suck it up just because it's awesome. But so anyway, so my number 1 is going to be the Honda Beat. And I'm sure you know what the Honda Beat is.
Wow,
but
really?
Yeah, it's the convertible, mid-engine, fucking, it's just so sick, dude. And like, there's I follow a guy on Instagram that has one that's like slammed on like modern work wheels. I think they're like the Work CR or something.
Dude, I will say that's
sick.
Yeah. That's the one good thing I feel like about K cars is you can really rock like a 14-inch wheel and it looks sick. Yeah. Like, that's the one thing that I hate about both cars that I really put all my time and effort into is like, if I go smaller than a 17 on the 240 and an 18 on the SEMA, it just looks whack. And I really love cars that can do like 14, 15-inch wheels and you know what I mean, which are mainly like Miatas. S13s, like some shit from the 80s.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't make cars like that in the States. I mean, for good reason. Like, if you got into an accident on the highway, you would just be a skid mark on the ground.
Yeah, what would the American equivalent be of a K car, or like a Geo Metro? Duh. But what would like the 80s and 90s American equivalent be? Because like I feel like that was.
I mean, Honda Civics. That's like it, because they brought stuff.
Yeah,
over.
but I'm talking like USDM. Like we had options for sure. Like the Civics were small, the Corolla was small. Dude,
I don't think there is anything.
we gotta have finish your list, then we gotta talk about 8.6s and wrap up this.
Okay,
episode.
my second one is the I think it's a Mazda AutoZam.
Oh,
Yeah.
the AZ1s,
Yeah.
bro. Those shits. I don't think does Mazda make them? I thought AutoZam was the company.
Well, so I think there
and
was
the
like
AZ1 is
two
the model.
different. I think there's like Mazda made some, and then AutoZam or AZ. You know what I mean?
Dude, AZ1s
Like-
fuck hard.
Yeah,
They're so good.
they're super cool. And I just like it just because it's just so unusual. It looks kind of like a cyberpunky vibe. You know what I mean? It seems like something. It has
They're
slits and
gull-wing
slats
doors too, right?
Yeah, and gull wing doors. It's like crazy, and it's like
Yeah, they're sick.
Since-
I'm sure I don't fit in one, but they are sick, bro.
yeah, I think like since the car is so small and the expense for the company is so low, they were allowed to like go crazy with the design. They're like, you can put slats
Yeah.
here, gull wing doors, do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, those are sick for sure.
for my third one, I'll probably go with like a. When I was in Japan, we had a Daihatsu. I forgot the name of it. It's like a
The Hummer looking thing.
yes, but those cars. Let me see if I can find it.
Don't tell me that's your number 3.
That is my
Don't
number
tell me that's
3,
your number
dude.
3.
Just because it's the practicality of it. It's just like the perfect everyday car. You can like slam it. You can put some nice wheels on it, nice and cheap. Like
Yeah, but they
so
look
much
like
room.
toasters, dude.
It was awesome.
It's just like stamped metal. Like the whole, all the body panels are just like stamped
every
metal.
single K car is just stamped metal.
Dude, I hate them, but it's like stamped in the worst way. I don't know. That's one I can't back you up on. I can back you up on the first dude. That thing was hideous. I never rode it in either.
It was hideous.
No, maybe I
you're
did
hurt Jumpin's
once.
feelings. Hey, for everybody, hey, I'm gonna post this up on the story, and you guys can be the judge. It was a Daihatsu.
Yeah, do a poll.
I don't remember the name of the actual model, but it had a body kit of an H2 Hummer on it, and it was so sick.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like an H2 that got squished. They're so ugly. I think we took it once to go to Lawson's.
Maybe. I don't know.
I do that, and it was so unremarkable. I don't remember what the inside looks like.
Actually, the inside was cool because it had like the previous owner had like covered everything in like this fake wood grain, like decals on the whole interior, and then it had like LED lights on the inside. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I think. Do you remember? Did I ever introduce you to that guy that was helping me fix my GTR? It was a Japanese guy. He's like a big dude.
I feel like you did.
He one of his friends was selling it, and my wife bought it for like $1,000.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, dude, you could get stuff for so cheap over there. Because I don't know, man. It's really weird. They, at least in my experience, like they would get rid of cars if they were a certain age. Like, but you don't see many Japanese people driving old cars as dailies. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people daily like pretty new cars.
so they
Which I know partly is the road tax.
Well, what I was gonna say is, so they usually keep cars until it becomes more expensive to keep it JCI ready than it is to just buy a new car.
Right. Yeah, I bought my second fun cargo off of a Japanese woman, and she was like, "Yeah, my son finally convinced me to get a new car." She was like, "I'm in debt, but it's new." It's like, damn, all right. I feel kind of bad now. I will say, like, it's not a K car, but I think a fun cargo is one car I would love to have in the U.S. because it was geared for Japanese roads, so it was still pretty slow, but it would go fast enough on roads here, and it would get up. And I fit a motorcycle inside of it, but they're so small.
I remember this little thing. We went to
Yeah, dude, I love.
how'd you know
I
in
love
this one?
those.
Oh, here's a stance
Yeah.
one.
They're sick. Dude, they go hard. Well, it's the same platform as the XP. So, like, same engine, same suspension and everything.
Really?
Anyways, what I wanted to talk about, I was talking about this on the car on the way home from Knuckle Up. what's your favorite 8.6 configuration? Are we talking like flip up headlights, hatchback, 11, front end, coupe, mix of both? What are we thinking here? What's the ultimate?
I think I'm partial
8.6
to
setup
the hatchback. Is that the 11?
Trueno.
Yeah. That's
Dude, and
my
I don't even
favorite.
know. I'm going off what Initial D taught me. We're probably getting this all wrong. They're probably like, no, it's a Zinky, bro. I feel like a quintessential Trueno is like flip up headlights, hatchback.
Okay, so according to Wikipedia, the Sprinter Trueno is the hatchback one.
Yeah.
Which
I'm opposite. I really think the 11 like fixed headlight coupe is the best looking 8.6.
Oh wait, time out. I misspoke. The hatchback is the 11 GT Apex, I believe.
Really?
Or maybe it was different in different markets. I don't fucking know. But the hatchback
Damn, bro.
is the one.
I think that
I'm getting different answers.
yeah,
everywhere.
dude, if I were to buy an 8.6, I would get a coupe in an absolute heartbeat with 11 front end, and I think it just fucks way too hard. It looks so good. It's definitely more hot boy. Like I feel like the Trueno flip up hatch is very 80s like era appropriate, and the 11 is like it still looks 80s, but you can really like stance and camber it out and kit it, and I just think it looks so chunky and so sick in all the right ways. And I saw one at Knuckle Up, and it's green. And if you're listening to this, come on the show, please. It was so tight. I want 8.6 so bad, but I can't justify getting rid of one of my current cars to get an 8.6, and that's the problem.
Yeah, definitely not. You're gonna have a hard time convincing Jess.
Dude, what's the move for you? Are you gonna keep the GTR like forever?
As long as
Do you think there's a moment where you're gonna be like, I'm gonna sell it and get something different?
No. I don't plan to ever sell it unless. Yeah, I don't see any reason to ever sell it unless another GTR came up that was like perfect the way I wanted it. I would just keep mine.
Yeah.
Like I can't. Me without a GTR would be like losing my identity.
I'm so invested in my current cars where I'm like, I would love to sell both of them and just buy like a really bitchin' 8.6. But I don't think I could bring myself to do it. You know what I mean? Like you get to a certain level of like attachment, which is kind of a detriment, honestly, because I have a lot of friends that just buy and sell, and they've like made off pretty well for themselves and gotten like, flipped, and then finally wound up in something like pretty sick.
Yeah, I mean, my thing is I want to experience a lot of different cars. Like I've never owned a Silvia. I've driven an S14 before, but I've never owned one. I want to try an RX-7 and all that stuff.
I love 240s.
But I don't want to just dip my toe in, and the cost to get one that's ready to go is, prohibitive. Right. So
yeah, and then if you're switching chassis completely, it's like I've got a sweet little collection of 240 shit in my garage. You know what I mean? It's like if I don't want to say if most shit breaks ever replace me, because that's not true, but I've got enough 240 parts to where like I can switch configurations and like do shit with that. And so it's like if I ditch that and buy like say this super bitchin' FC that popped up for sale, I don't have shit for an FC RX-7. You know what I mean? So then it's like you're at square one. You're like buying all of the shit for an FC or a 13B or whatever. Same goes if I wanted an 8.6. It's like I have no 4AG parts. It's a solid rear end. Like it's a completely different configuration. Like it's expensive. The car's cheap, but to future proof it, or like if you wanted to switch anything, then you're just spending way more money.
Well, I'm also kind of like a romantic. Like the idea of like someday, if I ever have a kid, of like being able to give my kid the keys to my GTR and being like, hey, you can take this to prom or something. Like that's something I want to experience. Although I know if you give a kid that kind of car, they're going to wrap it around a fucking light pole in like 2 seconds.
Bro. You're fucked. I don't know if I was just about to say that. Like, I don't know if I'd ever trust my kids enough. Like, I love my kids. I would be in the car with them, but I don't think I would ever be like, here's the 240, be back by 10.
And they just bring back a headlight.
I don't think that would ever happen.
This is all that survived.
Dude, listen, I said I would cry if I wrecked it. If they wrecked it, Jesus, bro. Like, I'm not coming out of my bed for like a week.
Dude, wait, so real quick, one time I jump into like this cherry blossom festival thing in northern Japan, and it was like a super windy day, and I was already kind of annoyed because like we was having a hard time finding parking, and we showed up too late, so the event was kind of winding down.
Was that at Hirosaki?
Huh?
Was that at Hirosaki?
That sounds familiar. I'd have to look up to see where exactly it was.
All the parking there was just like people's driveways, and they would charge you like $20 for the day to park there.
Well, so this one we've ended up finding like a gigantic dirt field or whatever. But anyway, we're getting out of the car and I'm already heated, and then Jumpin opens up her side of the door and the wind blows the door into the car next to her. And, you know, it's like completely not her fault, but that was like the last straw for me. I was like, like oh
we're going home.
We got to turn around. Once I saw the cherry blossoms falling from the tree and it was so scenic, I was like, okay, I can zen out. But that was like,
yeah, you snap like one photo with the R32. You're like, we can leave. Dude, it's cherry blossom season. Every car guy in Japan is like whipping out their cameras. They're like, all right, let's get this one banger photograph.
Yeah, you guys can't see it from the photos, but there's actually a line of people waiting to take a picture with just the one tree that has petals falling. And they're like, get in there, take a picture, get the fuck out.
Yeah, there's always like that one tree that dumped early, and then they were like, oh shit. Dude, the cherry blossom photos. Bang, way too hard. It's such a good, like, because you can always expect, I think it's because like nature is never pink, you know what I mean, like in that much pink. And it's like when people do those edits for their cars where they change the color of the surrounding except for the car, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
it's like that, except like you don't have to do anything, you just take a photo. It's called what is it called? Hue, saturation, and luminance tuning. Boom, there you go. There's your content creation tip of the day. HSL. It's how you change, like if you have a photo and it's green for all your trees and grass and shit, and your car's like purple, you could change all the greens to be purple if you wanted to. It's crazy shit. Anyways, that was it, I think. That was it, right? We didn't have any other topics?
Nah, man. We went all the way around the world and back. I think we're good.
We did. Oh, shit. I had dude, not even like speaking of car shit, but I had a flannel buttoned all the way up, right? Like real... I don't know, real like formal type shit. And I was driving in the car. I had it buttoned up because when you got a mullet like I do, you've got to let the hair sit over the collar so that it dries right. Because if it mingles with your collar and gets like part in, part out, it fucks it all up for the whole day. And then you take the jacket off, and then it's like, why does your back flap of hair look fucked? Like, oh, I just wore a collar into work. So anyway, so you got to button it all the way up. You flip the hair out over it so that the hair dries. And I was driving in the car and I sneezed and it popped the button from my neck. Dude, I felt like a beefcake for like 30 minutes. I was like, damn, bro, I did this shit. And like I buttoned it up again and I was just like, there's slack here. Like this isn't even like tight on my shit. But yeah, next time you sneeze, dude, like feel your neck. That shit just moves. It's just out here expanding.
That's the note you want to end on. Next time you sneeze.
It was crazy, dude. It was crazy. My whole neck just like I felt like that. I felt like that neck bro that was on social media a long time ago that had the huge one. You know what I'm talking about?
I do know what you're talking about. The black dude that had
the
like
inmate.
the super duper
dude,
neck.
I felt like him, dude. I was just out here popping buttons with my neck. Yeah, that's the note I want to end on. I don't know. That was a crazy experience for me. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for listening to Sincerely Japan, where we bullshit and talk about cars like 20% of the time. And that's what you're here for. You know what I mean? Like, we're really just delivering that. Really, like, Darius and I don't talk about this and don't really promote it, or I should say, like, we always just kind of forget. But please rate the podcast appropriately, you know, if you're like, kind of sucks, like give it a 3, but just rating it, you know, if you're on Apple or Spotify or Google Podcasts, wherever it lets you rate it. If you're on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel. It helps us out so much. And so we always forget to say that, but if you could just do us this one favor, if you enjoy the content, that's all we ask. We do have stickers for sale, sincerelyjapan.us. And hit us up on Instagram. We've been popping off on Instagram lately, dude. And it's mainly just you drunk scrolling. But yeah, we've been back on there, and it's always fun to get messages from you guys. And even if it's just bullshitting, like we get people that just literally just send us reels. Like just like it's like my own inbox, but it's Sincerely Japan, and they're like, yo, look at this cat. just send us whatever. I think I don't know. I think that's kind of one of the cool parts, and it's like we talked about with Knuckle Up, where you just show up and make friends easier. That's a cool part for us to run the podcast. It's like we've just met so many people that are so cool, people that we message pretty regularly now, and so yeah, if you want to become one of those people, come chat us up. And dude, we need to start video game shit. Like we talked about it, and we used to do it.
Yeah.
My computer's broken, so I'm not saying we need to do it right now, but
Well,
but when it's back and not broken, that shit's about to be popping off.
well, we'll talk more about that offline. But let's go ahead and get out of here before
Yo,
Jared takes us
also,
on some more tangents.
Well, since you're done with this podcast, go listen to the Goodest Cast Noriyaro episode if you haven't already, because that episode is so good. and listen, I would have loved to get Noriyaro on this show. I'm just glad he got on a show. Like it's such a good interview, and they talk about a lot of stuff that you don't get from Noriyaro. So I don't know. We probably shouldn't be promoting other podcasts. Maybe you do. I don't know, but it's good, dude. Go listen to it.
No, we report. It's just like my stance on music. Good music is good music. Good podcast, a good podcast.
Yeah,
and we're all part of the same community. So at the end of the day, let's just help each other out.
Dude, if you haven't listened to it, you need to. It's so good.
Not that he needs our help.
He doesn't, dude. He's crushing it. All right, guys. We'll catch you next time. Later.
Peace. Ooey gang for life.
Ooh, we gang. Just you.